Guys, here we go. So we've got another demo breakdown. Should be pretty used to these by now, but we're going to do something extremely different as a request from a lot of the students. They wanted to see me do a demo breakdown of an actual Milton Erickson session. Now, first off, these are so hard to find, these actual sessions, these actual demos of Milton Erickson actually working. Always to the point as well that you can actually understand what he's saying. This is before the disease and the pain that he had really took over, where basically his tongue was numb, his whole body was cataleptic. It was very hard to understand his session. You really had to listen. But for lack of better words, the absolute pure genius of the things that happened in this session, although extremely quick, this is actually a breakthrough session. Like a client actually has a breakthrough. Now, the lady, as you'll see, that Erickson works with has a compulsive disorder. I think it's a borderline like a personality disorder with some sort of compulsion attached to it. And these are the transcripts that I read from this session. But honestly, guys, in like a couple of minutes, so much stuff happens. And I'm going to do my best, as we normally do, to break this entire session down, break down each individual step, give you the insights, give you my opinions, give you my thoughts. And guys, let's really enjoy this. This is an absolute classic. Hopefully you've never seen this before. Like normal, I'll pause at certain points. But guys, let's have some fun with this. Okay. Now, bear in mind, it's a black and white video, obviously filmed on actual film, so you can hear the film flickering around. So turn your volume up, put your headphones on if you want to, and let's dive into this. So,
tell me, have you ever been in a trance before?
All right, so straight away, first question Milton Erickson asked, although it was more like a public demonstration of hypnosis, this lady is an actual client that needed to be treated. She actually has that personality disorder, that compulsion disorder, and Erickson, through a live demo, actually fixes the compulsion. Now, the first thing he said, or first thing you notice, no scripts. There's no timeline. There's no nothing. He's going to use any of those things. No language patterns. Always crazy to see people talk about, I'm in Milton Erickson. I've done Ericksonian hypnosis. I've done this. And all they've concentrated on is the language pattern. Now, what's crazy is those language patterns are obviously just part of the way that Erickson worked. But in a lot of the demos that he did, you hardly ever heard him talking like that. And it just shows you, again, we can get so caught up in the language. What's important here is the very act of this whole trance that he's doing. The first question he asks is, have you ever been hypnotized before? Now, what is the point of this question? Well, this is known as what's called a revivification. What he's basically going to do is going to use this lady's old experience of hypnosis, and he's going to hijack that past experience and that past memory, what the mind's connected to, and he's going to revivify that so she drops straight into the same trance so we can do the therapy. But at the same time, you're going to notice something very, very peculiar happening, okay, and very just absolute genius. You'll hear Erickson do the therapy and the trance at the same time. Now, I talk about this all the time in my ACA training, my advanced conversation hypnosis training. And this is ultimately where I learned it, to do the therapy first, because we do the therapy first, it gets rid of the resistance and the trance is easy and all that good stuff. He's concentrating on the breakthrough and the therapy, not the actual hypnosis, but he's doing both at the same time, okay? So first question he asked was, have you been hypnotized before? And watch her response. Oh, sorry, guys.
You think so?
She said, I think so.
Who is this man put you in trance before?
Dr. Yanowski.
So then Milton Erickson asks, who was the man that did the trance for you? Now, watch what he did just then. Okay, there's going to be a lot of these just little things to watch for, guys, okay? Looking her directly in the eye, look at his eye contact. He's got a smile on his face. There's some care. There's some good rapport. She's having fun. It's not scary. He asks, have you been in trance before? He's going to revivify that thing. And now he's going for some catalepsy. He's going to lift that arm up because this is the genius part. This cataleptic arm that he helps create becomes the metaphor for the breakthrough. Okay, and I'll talk about at the end what that breakthrough was. But constant eye contact. He's going for the classical arm levitation to make it cataleptic, so she realizes she's in trance. Her eyes are still open. But you notice he's not saying, hey, I'm going to touch your arm, or your arm's getting lighter, it's lifting and lifting. He does this in such a cool way. It's sort of awkward. There's a lot of pressure. He just does it without informing them. So he's talking to her and lifting the arm, so she's getting the experience of this, but he's actually starting the therapy as well. Hopefully this plays a little bit better. Oh, sorry, guys, having a little trouble with the video.
And to the trance before.
Dr. Yanowski.
Which is Dr. Yostic up there.
Yanowski.
There's the arm
That
held
was
up there.
very nice of you.
I enjoyed it.
Eye contact.
You enjoyed it? And when do you think you'll go into a trance for me?
And when do you think you're going to a trance for me? Look at the eye contact.
From the way my arm feels, I would imagine I might be in one now.
The way your arm feels, you might be in a trance right now.
Now, listen to what he said there. Language pattern aside, you could hear it in his voice. It said, you know, the way your arm feels, you might be going into a trance right now. And he emphasizes the now thing, but it's irrelevant for now. She responds to the question. He repeats it. This is called echoing. So if she says, Dr. Yostic hypnotized me, he's going to repeat that back. Then he's going to ask another question, you know, how do you know you'll go into a trance? Or when do you think you're going to trance for me? And she says, well, the way my arm feels, it feels like I'm in a trance right now. And he just repeats back exactly what she says. He is feeding back the trance. She's revivifying the memory. He's feeding back. But again, it's not just concentrating on the trance here. The therapy is starting to happen.
Trance right now.
Yes, that's right.
In what way does your arm feel different?
So he's asking about the arm, which we know in, if you've done my ACR training, is an unconscious moment. Now he's going to start asking about the unconscious moment, essentially saying, I'm going to put your attention on the trance that's happening right now. And by doing that, it's going to grow. It's going to ratify.
It tingles.
It's single. It's apart from you.
No, it tingles.
What he's doing right now.
Yeah, it tingles.
It's just
He says, how does your arm feel right now? And she says, it tingles. Now, Erickson does something very cool here. He purposely makes a mistake. He purposely doesn't hear her correctly. She says it tingles, and he goes ahead and said, it's single with an S. She's going to come back and say, no, it tingles. Then he's going to say, okay, it's just single. So he's purposely misunderstanding her. So she repeats back exactly what's happening with the arm. Okay, bit of fun there, but it does a lot. But look, eyes are open. Where's this whole eyes have to be closed relaxation thing that everybody talks about, language patterns? We don't need it. Okay, this is something beyond that. Okay, now watch what happens.
single.
Correct.
No, it tingles. My hand, well, now maybe it's single. It doesn't seem to be so much a part of me as it was before.
Tell me, are your eyes open?
Wide open.
Confusion here.
You're sure?
Your eyes open. Wide open.
Right now I am.
And he doubts her. He says, you know, your eyes open. She says, yes, wide open. And he looks at her, head to the side. He does this a lot, and he's always looking at different parts or unconscious moments. And then he says, are you sure? He's putting doubt in her mind. Now watch her face when he starts to do this.
Right now you are. Still being sure of it?
Doubting her.
Yes.
Look at the eye contact.
Are they closing?
Not yet.
Look at her. Watch her
You
eyes.
sure?
Doubting her still.
Yes.
There's the unconscious
All
moment.
the way.
Here's some process instruction.
All the way.
So this is where I took the process instruction from. It's one of the best therapeutic tools you can have. When you see an unconscious moment, we start to grow up by repeating it back and putting attention on it. He saw that long blink and then the struggle to open her eyes up. So now he stops talking to her. He stops talking directly to her conscious mind. Or the other question was conscious. Now he's just saying, with a process instruction directly in her eye, with a lot of emphasis, a lot of confidence in himself, he's saying all the way. Now, in the context of the session, she's going to start to think, all the way what? What are you talking about? Okay. He's now talking directly to the unconscious mind, the unconscious moment. And he's basically just waiting for the eyes to blink. As they're open, he'll say, no, 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 all the way. He'll close a little bit longer, open up again as she snaps out of it. And he says, all the way again. And he just has so much patience that he just keeps waiting for those eyes to close. Now, they don't have to close in a therapeutic thing. He's doing a demo, obviously. Okay. But just the pure genius and the patience that he has here is just incredible.
All the way.
Process instruction. He's just waiting. I'll fall into it soon. That's all right.
and staying shut all the way,
Keep fighting it.
all the way,
He won't move on until she goes in.
all
Now,
the
this
way
resistance
shut
has
now.
a big part of her compulsion.
And take a deep breath and go way deep
Now, the
into a
reason he kept with the
trance.
process instructions, even though it didn't quote unquote seem like it was working straight away, is because he needs her to follow his instructions. So if she keeps fighting it, which is a part of her compulsion, and she doesn't go with what he wants her to do, there's no point moving on. Because if she can't close her eyes unconsciously, that is, and can't follow that instruction, it's going to be very, very hard for him to finish the therapy if she's not quote unquote listening unconsciously. Hopefully that makes sense. So he's so patient. Okay, it's like someone will throw a language pattern out, doesn't work, and they'll just move on to something else. You've got to have patience behind this stuff. Again, I'm not saying using language patterns, but even an unconscious moment, you sort of get my point. Waiting for a client to follow those instructions is so important. And again, this has connotations and a big caricature of the actual therapy he's about to do. Sorry, guys.
In any future hypnosis, whether it's medical or
So just give some nice suggestions here.
into a trance,
Let's go back. Let's watch this part again.
and take a deep breath and go way deep into a
More
trance.
process instructions.
And in any future hypnosis, whether it's medical or dental, I hope you enjoy it thoroughly.
Nice suggestions.
And I hope that never, never would you use hypnosis to entertain people, but to instruct them and to make them much more aware.
But what's really cool here is, again, it's a demo. It's a public demo, but he's doing the therapy. But you actually won't hear anything about the therapy until right at the end. There's no therapeutic instructions. He's basically just saying, enjoy hypnosis from now on, which is a good thing for her, you know, in a thing. But there's the therapy happening as well. And this arm is the metaphor for the therapy, as you guys will see soon.
Do you mind if I talk about you?
No.
It doesn't make you self-conscious, does it?
This is part of the therapy.
No, not when you're in a trance.
Not when you're in a trance.
Repeat that.
But you can make a response to me. Isn't that right?
Yes, I can.
And all of your surroundings seem awfully unimportant, do they not?
That's right. I'm only conscious of your voice.
You're only conscious of my voice.
He's just playing around.
That's enough, isn't it, really?
Oh, yes.
Because we're here for a medical purpose, to demonstrate various things. And so, take a deep breath, rouse up completely, rested, refreshed, and energetic.
So he's saying, take a deep breath and rise up out of the trance, come back to me. But the trance is not done yet. The therapy is not done yet. He's doing part of a fractionation approach, which is put a client in, take them out, put them in, take them out. The idea behind this, they'll go deeper each time. Okay. But again, he set up the parameters for the therapy with the arm catalepsy. You can see that on camera. But the therapeutic thing's about to happen. But again, it encompasses the whole session anyway. Now watch what happens here. Come out of it.
Do you think you're wide awake?
Do you think you're wide awake?
Well,
Not sure.
no, I don't. I can't get my arm down.
You can't get your arm down?
No.
Do you mean your arm is still asleep?
Yes, it is.
The arm's still asleep.
Well, let's
Wonderful
change
session.
things for it.
Here's
Let's
the
have the
therapy.
other arm asleep.
Boom. That's the therapy right there. Now, what's happened here? This lady has a compulsion, a medical problem, a compulsion, a personality disorder. And what he has done, genius of this, is he's taken the compulsion that he set up in the right arm and he's now moved it over to her left. That's the therapy. Okay. Now, we could spend all day analyzing what this means, or how does changing one arm to the other, how's that going to change the compulsion? I don't think anyone will really know. Okay, the best breakdown I saw was just this explaining this, but Erickson's the only one who knew. But the results of this session from the journal of this was the lady was completely free of the compulsion, which is crazy. All he's done is move the compulsion from one arm to the other. He's changed the entire feeling of the compulsion, how the compulsion was, and he's moving it over to another arm. Okay, and that changes the very nature of the problem that she was having. Okay. Genius, all right?
How does that feel?
Now he's back to the hypnosis, having fun. Look at his face, smiling, having
That
fun.
feels like the other one did now.
That feels like the other one did.
Back. Echoing back.
Are your eyes wide awake?
Your eyes wide
Yes,
awake.
I think they are.
You think they are? You're sure?
Right now I am.
You're beginning to have doubts?
You're beginning to have doubts.
Well, in this type of thing, you always have doubts.
You always have doubts.
There the eyes go again.
And so when the doctor says, I doubt if you have pain, what's your reaction?
Part of the therapy.
I don't know. I don't suffer from pain very much.
Isn't it nice?
I think it's wonderful.
That's right.
Process instruction.
And even when your dentist works on you, you will be free of pain.
Helping your
By
pain
the way,
control.
are we alone in here?
No.
Do you see anybody else?
And he's playing
No.
around with hypnosis
Not right
again.
now, I don't.
Just me?
Yes.
Is that enough?
Right now it is, yes.
Right now it is enough. Now close your eyes and take a deep breath and wake up wide awake all over.
Now wake up all over. Indirect suggestion.
All over.
What's this?
How can I wake up all over when I can't get my arm down?
How can you wake up all over when you can't get your arm down? You know, your arm is part of all over.
Arm is part of all over. And wait. Eventually you should get it. There you go.
Now I think I'm awake.
Now you think you're awake.
There we have it. So it's probably like a 2-minute video, but there is so much going on here. And I'll just sort of recap. You've got the lady coming in with the compulsion, okay, the disorder, that he has it represented in the right arm, that he's simply, the therapy is to change it over to the left arm, to change the neurology and the nature of the problem by just changing it slightly. If you've done the ACH training, you'll hear me talk about those very things. We don't get rid of the problem. We bring back choice. We just change the nature of the problem and it will sort itself out. Okay, that's that processing stuff we talked about in the ACH training anyway. But he uses a revivification by revivifying the memory of an old trance that he hijacked. He uses echoing. He uses doubt. He uses eye contact. He's got a big smile on his face. He's having fun. No doubt he's in a deep trance as well. But what I love about this is just the casual, fun nature of therapy. And to have the lady talk about this in the reports afterwards, that her compulsion is completely gone in just a couple of minutes. And this was a compulsion that was almost deemed untreatable. But you can tell a lot by her personality as well. She was quite resistant at the start, but it didn't shake Erickson. He just kept going. He slowed down, eye contact, a lot of doubt. He's changing the very nature of her compulsion and this personality disorder. 2 things at once. And he did a bit of pain control stuff at the end, all mixed in one. Okay. Now, again, no language patterns. There's none of this old Ericksonian stuff that everybody talks about. There's no real testing of depth of trance. It's just a simple conversation. It's one step at a time. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. Again, we could spend a lot more time really unpacking every single part of this, but that gives you a really good overview of this. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you guys want to see more of these, of me breaking down his sessions, I'm more than happy to. It's basically the only ones that I can find on YouTube that I'll do. Some a little bit hard to understand, but I'll try my best if I find some more to give you guys a breakdown. But that's it. Look forward to more ACH breakdowns, guys. One coming very, very soon. And guys, I'll see you on the next video. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.